Delight Campers. I'm Melissa, your Arts and Crafts Coordinator, and today we're going to be doing a Junior Arts and Crafts activity, and it's to be making a sun catcher. So I have a couple examples here. This one is made with tissue paper. It's a watermelon. You can see it's on this clear plastic, so that's how the sun is going to get through from the window. And then this one is made with some flowers that I picked from my garden. So you can use the tissue paper that's in your kit, or you can use flowers, or you could even use both. It's totally up to you on the sun catcher that you want to make. So we want to see your creativity. You can certainly share any photos or videos that you have with us. We'd love to see them. Now let's get to the making. Okay, the materials that we need for our sun catcher would be our transparent adhesive laminating plastic sheets. We want the tissue paper in any of the colors that you'd like to use from your kit. Paper plate. You can also choose to use some flowers or greenery from outside if you wish. So here's some of the ones that I picked from my backyard. And then from your general arts and crafts bag, you might need some things like scissors. You might want to use your markers, your Scotch tape, white glue, your permanent marker, your ruler, and your construction paper. As well, you're going to want to make sure to cover your workspace to protect it from any of your arts and crafts mess that you might make. So you want to grab your tablecloth from your general arts and crafts bag to cover up that workspace before you even begin. The first step is going to be to decide what shape you want your sun catcher and how big it's going to be. You can make as many sun catchers as you want out of the laminating adhesive plastic that you have. It all depends on how large you make them. So the example that I'm going to make, I'm going to make it about this big for this size piece of laminating paper. So I have to cut this one to match up because you do want two pieces that are about the same size, because one piece is going to be the back and one piece will be the front of the sun catcher once you stick them together at the end. So I'm just going to flip over the paper here, and I'm going to use these lines on the back to help me know where I need to cut it. So there's these helpful lines, and you can also use your ruler to help you get a straight line here. Okay, now that I have two pieces about the same size, I'm going to put one to the side. And this one is going to be the one that I use for my design. Now you can use either flowers for your design or greenery, or you can use tissue paper, or you can use both. It's totally up to you. For this example, I'm going to use some of the flowers and greenery that I found outside in my yard. But before we take off the backing to our adhesive plastic paper to make it sticky, a really good idea is to use some of your construction paper to mark out your design first to know where you're going to lay your pieces. This is important whether you're using flowers and greenery or you're just using the tissue paper to kind of decide what your design is going to be, because once you stick it to the sticky paper, you won't be able to take it back up. So it's important to know what you're going to do. So I'm going to measure out this construction paper so that it's about the same size as my sticky adhesive paper, so that I can do my design on the construction paper first. Once you're happy with your design, we are going to just transfer it over to the sticky paper. You want to try to avoid any really thick parts of flowers. That's why I took off most of the stalks, and you can see that there's some leaves there, but they're quite flat. So these flowers are going to flatten out once we sandwich them between the plastic. So what I'm going to do now is just gently take my design here, and I'm going to slide it up gently so that I don't disturb it. And I'm going to take one of my pieces of my sticky plastic paper, and I'm just going to peel off the edge so that the shiny plastic side is down towards my workspace, and the sticky side that's going to come up when I peel off the paper backing is going to be where I stick all of my flowers. Be careful that you don't stick this to your hands too much. You're going to keep it flat on your workspace. And then if you have a hard time getting your finger off, I find it's helpful to use my scissors and just gently lay my scissors on the sticky part, pull off my finger, and then it's easier to take the scissors off. So once I do that, I'm going to start transferring the flowers from my design onto the sticky paper so that I can make the same design here. Okay, so once we have all of our design on there, it looks slightly different from my first design, and that's okay because when you lay it down, you kind of want to find the best spot for them. You kind of want to flatten the flowers out a little bit so that they are sticking to the plastic the way that you want them. So for me, they're stuck to the back, and this is going to be the front that I want to see on my window. So once you're happy with your design, like I said, you can definitely add some tissue paper to the exterior, and the way that you would do that is just by taking your tissue paper, cutting out any designs that you would want, and then just taking the tissue paper and laying it down on the sticky part. I'm going to put mine over here on the side because it's not a part of my design, but just so we can see how it works. So I'm just going to lay it right there, and then I can layer tissue paper, I can add other colors, it's completely up to me. So once I'm happy with that, I need to get the second layer to cover over top to keep everything sandwiched in. So I'm going to gently move that out of my way so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to grab my second piece here. Yep, and that's the one that matches up. And the same thing, I'm just going to take off the white backing again. So I'm going to leave the plastic part down towards my workspace. I'm going to take off the backing, and then I'm going to very gently pick it up, turn it over, and lay it on top of my design here so that I can sandwich them in between the two pieces of plastic to protect it, and that's how I'm going to be able to hang it up. So my Suncatcher is now stuck together on both sides. You can see this is the front that I'll be looking at from the inside of my window. And then this is the back, which I still think is really pretty, the way that it looks, the back of the flowers and the back of the leaves. So what we're going to do, we're going to create a frame. So I'm going to get rid of some of this extra plastic just by cutting it off. I want to make sure I leave some around the edges so that I have something to stick to my frame. So you can create your frame out of your paper plate if you'd like, or I'm just going to use some of my construction paper from my General Arts and Crafts kit and kind of trace around the shape that I want, cut it out, and then stick it to my new Suncatcher. An easy way to cut out this inside piece without cutting through the actual frame is to just gently fold your piece of paper in half like that and cut a hole with your scissors and then cut around. Before I cut off any excess here, I'm going to just test it and see what it looks like. So I'm going to take the pencil marks and put it on the back so we can't see where I drew out my shapes. So that looks like a pretty good fit here. I'm going to trim off some of the edges and then stick on my frame with some tape on the back. You can also use the exact same technique that we used with the flowers to use it with your tissue paper. So here's an example that I did with the tissue paper. I made a watermelon. I used my paper plate as the frame. I just cut out a circle and then I stuck it on back in the same way using the Scotch tape. You also might want to add any details using your permanent marker. I drew on black lines on my watermelon. You could even like make dots with it or little eyes, any little details. And you might also want to use your markers to decorate your frame, whether it be your paper plate or your construction paper frame, whatever you choose to do. Now to check out our final product, we are going to lay our sun catchers on top of this light to make it look kind of like the sunshine would look like shining through your window. So here is our watermelon. Okay, so you can add more tissue paper to make it more colorful because you can see the spots where I overlap some of my tissue paper. You can notice that it's a deeper dark color, so you can play with that. Or you can mix colors by layering 2 different pieces of tissue paper. And here is our flower example that we made. So you can see the colors are coming through. So this is what you would see from the inside, and this is what you would see from outside. Both sides are really nice and would be a great decoration hanging up in your window. I hope you had fun with Camp Delight Arts and Crafts today. Please make sure to share any photos or videos that you'd like with us. You can use social media using Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter to connect with us using the hashtag CampDelight2020. Or you can always use email to send us any photos or videos. Our camp email address is campdelight@candlelightersnl.ca. We look forward to hearing from you. See you next time.